We are back again. I'll bet you didn't expect me to have somebody else here. This is my good friend Kristie Harrison, Kristie Harrison Homes, and let me tell you, we're both with EPIQUE Realty. And I'm sure you can remember when I put that post out about, the rocket ship strapped to my butt just to power me. So I wanted to come on here, and Kristie did too. It's kind of a collaboration, and we wanted to talk a little bit about why what we've done is a little bit different, but also why it works for us. Because you never know who's listening. It may work for you too. What's a little bit different is that we both own our own brokerages, and we are also dually affiliated with EPIQUE Realty. So being aligned with EPIQUE Realty, what does that mean? It's not a pitch. It's not about replacement. It's more about being aligned with the right people to enhance our businesses instead of engulfing it, so to speak. So Off-Road Realty is still going strong, and so is Kristie Harrison Homes. So what's it look like for you?
Well, for me, it's business as usual. It's just a lot better. We're out there a little more because it's just powered by EPIQUE, which is exactly like you mentioned. It's your rocket ship,
yeah.
which is a good thing. And I think a big thing is I know for me, and I don't want to speak for you, but for me, it was a decision that I wanted to do, not because I had to do it. Right. And sometimes people make the decision to no longer run their own firm because they can't do it. Right. I don't think either one of us have that issue. It's not that we couldn't. We realized the opportunity, or I realized the opportunity of how that could excel my business, help me help our clients so much better, and allow us to provide things that we may not have ordinarily been able to provide for our clients. So we reach, we get a farther span of reach. I had a client ask me when I mentioned it to them that I had joined EPIQUE Realty, and they're like, well, why would you do that? And I said, well, and I gave them, just a handful of reasons, because there's lots of different reasons, but I think most agents that have their own firm, they have something that they resonate with. And I gave just a few reasons, and they just looked at me like, well, how is that going to help? And I said, well, it allows me to, and I started giving the things that I get to provide them that I wouldn't ordinarily have been able to do it, because I would have had to pay extra, out of pocket. Not just putting the house in MLS, but, and syndicating out, but the additional marketing, the billboards, the photo credits, the things that are saving me money that allow us to get more more benefits for our clients.
I remember sitting on the sidelines and lurking in the shadows, so to speak, and watching your posts and scratching my head and going, okay, there's got to be something to it. And then I started doing some research, and then I started calling you and nagging you with my little lists of questions.
I did the same thing to Robbie.
over and over and over again. But, like you said, clients, longtime clients, repeat clients of mine said the same thing. Why in the world would you do that? What you worked so hard to develop a brand and get your name out there. And I just kind of laughed, and I said the same thing. I said, you should see all the cool tools, all the neat stuff that we can offer you now. And I said, all of my clients going forward, buyers, sellers, it doesn't matter. And I spoke with enthusiasm, and the first guy was like, oh, okay, as long you know what you're doing. So, I mean, what are they going to say?
Well, they want you. Your clients. Exactly. A lot of times, and I didn't realize this until later. Actually, the first time I made a move from the first firm that I was with, I met with my clients and said, hey, look, I'm really not happy here. I'm considering leaving. Understand if you want to be, with another agent with this firm. And they were like, no, if you leave, I'm canceling my agency agreement. I'm going wherever you go. And then I realized, while the firm that you're with might have that, agency agreement, the bond and the relationships are with you.
Absolutely.
Right? And so with us having our own firms prior to being with EPIQUE, that bond and relationship that we've had with our clients and that advertisement that we have individually done, not only for ourselves but for our firm, we're not losing that name. You're not made to lose that name in your branding. Granted, you have to put EPIQUE up there, and we need to follow the laws and things. But you still keep, I still have my logo, right? Yeah. I think you still have yours,
still have mine.
right? So you can, design your signs where it's approved, and so you're not losing your individuality, or what you've already built. You're adding to it.
The things I put out now is my logo, the plus sign, and then powered by TLG Network, EPIQUE. Yeah, absolutely. It has been absolutely amazing. The tools, the technology, the resources. We talked about the billboards and the marketing tools and the signs and things like that. That's just a little bit of it. But like you said too, what would it cost us to have those tools if we didn't have EPIQUE?
Yeah.
So it's been a win-win for me for sure, and I know it has been for you.
It's definitely been for me.
Yeah.
That's one thing I've not questioned. In the beginning, I had the list. I did.
Mm-hmm.
I did the pros and cons, and I was like, why would I do that? I said
I
it to
still have mine.
myself. I said it to myself. Why would I go join another firm? I have my own. I'm sitting right here by myself. I'm perfectly fine. And then I realized what I was missing. When I said I'm having the board meeting with myself.
Yeah.
And all. Because you don't have anybody to bounce things off with. You're you're going to now. I do networking events and things, but having that opportunity to be in these training rooms. I used to pay for coaching through Club Wealth. It was great, and my coach, ended up. That's how I found out about EPIQUE, and it wasn't like a recruitment thing. It was. I'm seeing all these things they're posting, kind of like you did with me, and I was like, hey, look, what's going on? Tell me what's happening. And I had my list. And so I'm like, okay, once you're there for a little bit, let me know if it's legit, because I don't believe it. And then so
too good to be true,
yeah, it
right?
was. It was definitely there's no way they can't do that. And so I remember clearly thinking in my mind, I was like, you know what, we'll give it a go, because we have plans that, we want to make changes. And I was like, that the benefits that are offered, if they're legit, that could help me get to our next step in life, right? And I'm like, I'll give it a year, see what happens. Well, here I am almost 2 years later. Yeah. I'm definitely, as they say, drinking the Kool-Aid, because it is definitely legit. I never thought that I would see a firm that offers, like our insurance.
Mm-hmm.
I use that. I have my son on that, where the virtual urgent care, I don't have to go sit in a doctor's office when people are sick.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been quite beneficial.
That's awesome.
I definitely.
I know that my big thing was the learning aspect, having access to the coaches, and I can go into our dashboard and I can find, either recorded trainings or live trainings, or there are Zooms going on every single day of the week. So if there's something I want to learn, I can sit in and I can learn, and it doesn't cost me anything. I could sit in classes every day if I had the time, but and it's not for everybody. I don't think that this is the perfect fit for just anybody. I think it's more for the person that has outgrown where they are, or they feel like there's something missing, that puzzle piece that's missing. I really think that that's more what EPIQUE is all about. So yeah, we'll have some more conversations about this too, because it goes a lot deeper, but we're glad you guys were here. If anything piqued your interest, you know where we are. Have an awesome day, folks.